Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing this birthday card I made using the newly released Beelong Hexagon Pops and the In Stitches alphabet from My Favorite Things. I'm also using the Petite Gingham paper pad and a stamp set from the Partners in Adventure. First of all, I have cut down my pattern paper from the Petite Gingham paper pad to an A2 sized panel, and now I'm going to stamp out this birthday from the sentiment from the Partners in Adventure. Now I'm masking all the rest of the sentiment off using my purple tape. I prefer masking like this when I'm masking a sentiment because I can wiggle around with purple tape. You can fold it in the creases if you want to or need to, and it's just really handy to use. Now I'm stamping it out twice, and then I will continue with the rest. Now, the other thing that I have is Hep B from the Hexagon Pops. I have cut this out of mushroom colored cardstock from Concord and 9th, and this is going to form my sentiment. Now I also bought the Hexagon Pops because I just love a hexagon and it fits so well with some bees. So I decided to cut this out of my pattern paper. This way I have a bit of a grounding, and I'm really sorry for the hairs, but I attached it using a bit of purple tape, and then I have my background panel. Now for the happy, I wanted to have one of the letters a bit lower and all the rest just aligned straight. So I'm using my grid mat to align all of the letters except for this one because I want to be a bit playful with the bees as well. And then I'm using my purple tape and I'm lifting everything up at once, adding my liquid glue, and then I can line this up on top of the panel. And once it's on there, normally I would wait a bit longer, but I was really impatient, so I wanted to get that purple tape off immediately. If you wait a bit longer, then, well, the letters won't move. Sorry. Then the letters won't move, but in my case, I was just a bit too impatient, and the liquid glue wasn't dry yet, of course. So it wiggled a bit, but liquid glue, so I just got it back in place. And the other die cut that you have with the Hexagon Pops, the one line of hexagons, I cut out of the same mushroom cardstock to add later on. Now from the stamp set We Belong, I have decided that I'm going to use these 4 images, the 3 bees and then this adorable bear. I just love these critters. I cannot handle the cuteness. But I'm using one of my favorite brown combinations. This is a warm brown. It's the E18, E15, E33, E53, and I just love this combination so much. There are so many different brown combinations that you can use, and if I look back, I think I always use 3 combinations all the time, and this is one of them. And as you can see, the first layer isn't that great. This is Transotype perfect coloring paper, so at least 2 layers for me to get my blending going, and if needed I can add many more. Today I'm doing some flicking to get my blending going on with these browns, but you can color however you want. Just keep in mind that if you're struggling with the blend of some of your color combinations, then flicking might help you, or doing a bit of tip to tip. But most of the time for me the flicking really helps if I experience a bit of troubles getting everything to blend. Then the bees, also really simple. These are small images, so even lots of layers aren't that necessary. You just add as many as you need to get the finishing that you want to. And also I'm using warm grays, and these warm grays that I'm using today, I just thought that they fit so well with the mushroom cardstock. And since the areas were so small, I didn't have the need to add a second layer to these. Now the faces with the yellows there, I really wanted to add a bit more because it's a bit larger, but again, even just one layer also does the trick, I think, over there. But just to be sure, I added the second layer. But as you can see, really simple coloring with a lovely cute effect. And that's what I really like. So once the coloring is done, I'm going to cut these images out using the matching dies. And then we can assemble this card. I'm going to secure the dies using some purple tape, and when everything is cut out, I can play around with placement. Now there are many ways to recreate this card with a completely different effect, and I already made another card as well, so I'm going to show you that at the end of the video. But I think there are really a lot of ways to create this card. Change up the colors, don't do a pattern paper, do another color of pattern paper or another pattern paper. You know, anything you want you can do. There are so many options. So I'm going to add all of these cuties using some thin foam squares. And then I'm going to add this panel on top of a card base. Now I'm just going to cut off a sliver that was a bit too big, and then I'm going to fill this back using some Scotch 3M foam tape. I want some dimension. I'm going to leave those hexagons wide, the wide of the card base, but I really like the idea of having a bit of dimension going on there instead of just adding it flat onto the card base. And as you know me, I'm one of those people who always fills up the back as much as possible, just to sturdy the card if I'm mailing this, that it won't get bulked or anything like that. So I'm adding a lot of foam, I know. And then I will remove the backing and add this panel on top of the card base. Now, as you know, and as you saw me doing here, I have those hexagons lying around with from the mushroom colored cardstock. Now those I will randomly add to some of the gaps that I have from cutting out the Hexagon Pops on the bottom of my panel. So I think actually if you want a really sweet card that you can stop here already if you want to. But you can also fill some of the hexagons or all of them if you want with a nice color. Now in this case I decided to keep the color that I used for the sentiment, but you don't need to. So I have added some of these thin foam squares inside of those hexagons, and now I'm just popping those mushroom colored hexagons on top of the thin foam squares. The one behind here was a bit more difficult, it was a bit tricky, but you can also wait with adding the bear and just first add your hexagons. I just had no clue where I was going to add them, so I postponed that and added the bear first. And then once they're all on there, I'm going to finish off this card with some final details. So I'm going to add some stickles to the bees, to their wings. And then this card is finished in my opinion. You can add many more, you can also add some embellishments, you can do glossy accents on the happy if you want to. but I'm leaving it like this. And then I'm quickly going to show you the other version that I made without pattern paper and just white card panel. So these are my two cards, quite similar, same basic idea, and I just changed it up a bit. I hope that you enjoyed this video and of course that you like the end result. If you do, you can always give this one a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. I hope that you have an amazing day left, and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!